So, some SJW Hollywood liberal is forcing his politics onto He-Man and down my throat so we can make He-Man unattractive, which will somehow insult masculinity. Well, I see through you, Kevin Smith. I'm going to dedicate every video on this channel to destroy you and your show. Even though I really didn't care too much about it beforehand, but now I really care. Hey, how's it going, Manchines? I thought I'd talk about the news that went down at this past weekend's PowerCon. Now, for those of you who aren't in the know, the PowerCon is essentially the big annual convention dedicated to the Masters of the Universe, He-Man, She-Ra, so on and so forth. Usually not too much stuff goes on at these things, not any big announcements or anything like that. If anything, the biggest thing that was going on was creators of She-Ra and the fans were showing up to kind of do a victory lap over Season 3, which, by the way, if you haven't seen, I highly recommend. It's very good. Check out my review. But there was more this time around. Now, as you may have heard, there is a thing called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and partly why it's not in the new She-Ra show is because they had the rights kind of tied up trying to make a film. That apparently has fallen through, but biggest surprise announcement was that Kevin Smith, yes, that Kevin Smith, is show running a new miniseries apparently on Netflix, and it's going to be designed as a continuation of the original show, not a reboot, it's a revival. And the animation studio is going to be the same folks, I think they're called Powerhouse, and they're the ones doing the Castlevania TV show. So it's definitely going to have this kind of like anime-ish look to the show, and I have a bunch of feelings. Now I've been thinking about it for a couple days, had a chance to kind of process. I'll get into the bad and the good and the good and the bad and all that stuff. Essentially, it's an interesting choice to do a revival, possibly miniseries, and end to the old show, because there were so many plot threads and unanswered questions the old show left us. I don't know. But it's an interesting idea with so many reboots to go back and kind of finish up the old show. It's interesting that Kevin Smith does this. And yes, he has had some experience with animated series before. He did the animated Clerks TV series that ran very shortly on ABC back in the 2000s. Now, whatever your feelings may be, there's kind of a lot of mixed opinions about that show. Some people don't care for it. There are people that think it's an underrated stroke of genius before its time. I am not one of those people. I actually think it kind of sucked. But he does have some work in this field. And also, he has, of course, had work in comic books with Green Arrow, Batman, Green Hornet, Daredevil. I think I really like anything Kevin Smith has done that has green in the title. Green Arrow is really good. Green Hornet is excellent. It's his best comic book work. Daredevil is good, and Batman is not so great. So yeah, he's had a lot of experience with fantasy type characters and superhero type of stuff. So it may not seem like an obvious choice, but he does have some kind of experience in the field. Although, to be honest, this is a revival show run by someone not involved with the old show, a fan of the old show, which could work, would be really cool. Although we have people who worked on that show who are still in the business, like J. Michael Straczynski was a writer on that show. Paul Dini was a writer on that show. That might have been an interesting way for them to come back with their prior knowledge of working on this product. But that's, it'd be nice. One of the things I'd like to hear is it'd be cool if Kevin Smith would find anybody worked on the show to come back on this one, some of the writers and any of the voice actors. The last couple of days I've done a little digging on IMDb, and there are some voice actors that are still with us. Believe it or not, Alan Oppenheimer, who voiced Skeletor, is still with us. He's in his late 80s, early 90s, and so is the actor who played He-Man. I don't know how their voices sound these days. I don't know if they can still perform the roles. They might be able to, like, show up in cameo roles and stuff like that. It would be a nice kind of like touch to like bring that out, at least for the final run of the show, which I assume that will be. There's some things like I hope they don't do. Maybe I should get into that. One of my initial fears is they do that thing where fans, through nostalgia, kind of forget how goofy the thing they liked was when they were a kid and only see it as hardcore. I really hope they don't do that. My hope is they don't go too dark and serious because, like I said, this is a revival, not a reboot. Now, when you do a reboot, you have a little bit more license to do your own thing and your take on the property. This is a revival, so that means it has to be inherent to that universe that and how it played out and how their kind of rules and how that series worked. If they go too dark, that might seem really off. I know a lot of people go, yeah, that's awesome, but going too dark, doing too much sex and gore and violence doesn't automatically equal quality. I would actually hope that they would take some lessons of the revivals on He-Man's universe that have worked, like I think it was the 89-90 show, that didn't work at all. But the 2002 show that was on Cartoon Network, that worked. The current She-Ra is working really well. And those two, I think, take what worked about the original versions of the shows and hadn't forgotten the humor, but still like raised the stakes in the more serious parts of the storylines and the action, and they don't forget that. And it's both are a good balance, and I would hope that Kevin Smith's He-Man would be kind of in that vein. That's my hope right there. So far, looking pretty good. I do have some, I don't know, I guess I do have some reservations. I kind of need to hear more about the season and the stories and what they're planning. Maybe maybe a trailer before I really get a real good mindset of what they're doing. But I'm looking forward to seeing whatever they do, good or bad, really. It's always interesting to revisit that universe. So, hey, what do you, the viewers at home, think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think this is a great idea, a bad idea? You're kind of medium on it like I am. Let me know. And you can also check me out on the various social medias in this universe. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, I'm also on Instagram, and you can support this channel on Patreon. Just starting at $1 a month, and you can like, subscribe, and click the notification bell for this video, because that's really important to YouTube. I guess it's important to me too, if you want to help me out. I don't know. Alright, so I'll be talking to you later. Push the button, Lindsay.
They don't play the song on the radio. They don't